the vast wind-swept steppes of the Pontic Caspian expanse, a land of endless horizon and fierce nomadic peoples, had a new name to contend with. Yagbu Tatus Khared of the Pechenegs, a leader of a formidable confederation of clans. His spirit yearned for a title that would echo through the ages, the greatest of all Khans. It was the consuming fire of his ambition, and a goal as boundless as the grasslands as his people roamed. Tatus was a man forged in the crucible of steppe life, as a tough soldier by the reckonings of his peers, familiar with the bite of the winter wind and the heft of a warrior's arms. His resilience was undeniable, his understanding of warfare practical and bred from experience. He knew the land, and he knew the sense of opportunity, however faint on the shifting winds. His ascension to king was recent, the weight of the fur-lined crown still settling upon his brow. From his yurt, he surveyed his domain, not a kingdom of stone castles or sprawling cities, but one of felt tents and ever-present herds. His yurt, modest, befitting a leader whose wealth is measured in livestock and loyalty rather than gold. The storage, a well-placed thing for holding livestock and sustenance. But adequacy was not a benchmark for Tatus Khared. And now we find ourselves with Tatus murmuring to himself in his yurt. The herds are strong, the people restless as always. Restlessness breeds hunger, and hunger properly guided breeds conquest. But warriors fight best when their spear arm is as skilled as their spirit is willing. His gaze often distant, as if scanning the far horizons even within the confines of his yurt. He fell upon the muster rolls and the reports. He lay with many seasoned riders of a mobile force, complemented by the deadly accuracy of his horse archers, and especially his heavy horse archers, the elite shop cavalry of the steppes. He ensured these riders were stationed strategically, and he possessed 5 champions of valor and stood ready. The first order of business. Let us clean what buildings are around us. We have no need for temples or yurts. Raise it all. It will fund our further campaigns. And then we must train our shield wall. Our arms and warriors must be worth 10 of any other. Well, we already ride the horses, and let's fire the bulls. This decree was the act of a leader looking far beyond the immediate. However, another pressing issue concerned the future of his own line. The spirits of the ancestors, and indeed the stability of the continent, watched keenly for the continuation of his blood. My Khan, the matters of succession, it whispers in the Kurlatai. The people look for assurance. The whispers reach my ear as well. A Khan without sons is a tree without deep roots in a storm. It's time I took a wife, or perhaps the first of them. And many branches may yield stronger trees. And with that, the pursuit of a bride was seldom matter. It was a matter of strategic alliances to secure his borders and produce heirs. he would find himself wed to one of his vassals' daughters, cementing further loyalties and creating a bond with that of his Kurlatai, and secure himself against potential insurrection. Tatus would not be limited by that of minor alliances, but the woman's traits were of a mixed offering as well. A zeal and a generous woman who was also arrogant. Tatus was not a man to be overshadowed, and she represented the first step towards ensuring the Karate name would continue. Make the arrangements, advisor. The chief shall have his wish, and I shall have my queen. Let the first stone laid in the foundation of my legacy would ensure that the stargazers and the wise women continue their search. The Khans have always understood the strength found in many hearts. It was soon that emissaries prepared the ride to the encampment with Yagbu's proposal, and Tatus stood at the entrance of his yurt, looking over at the vast, seemingly untamed expanse that was his birthright and his challenge. He would have been constructing a square and a wife, and with her promise of heirs was secured, these were but the first steps on the journey. The title of greatest of all Khans felt impossibly distant, yet the ambition for it burned brighter than ever, and a guiding star in the immense dark firmaments of his future. The burden of his reign was heavy, but his weight seemingly uniquely prepared, even eager to bear. The seasons turned across the vast steppes, and Yagbu Tatus Karade did not let the grasses grow idle beneath his feet, and nor let his warriors rest easy in their yurts. He began construction of a training ground that would allow his troops to be even more superior, facing greater threats from all directions, the Cumans to the east, the Byzantines to the south, and the Rus from the north. All horse archers, said Tatus. They are the wind that whisper death before the storm arrives, and we must keep them sharp. Tatus would later install a new mark of distinction, the most loyal arrow, and it was bestowed upon a champion of exceptional skill and unwavering loyalty. Yagbu knew that the strength of the spear and the bow began with the hand that wielded it, and he also dedicated himself to the disciplines of war, following the warlord's path, and his days were spent as a regimen of strategic study and physical conditioning, and his nights were spent poring over maps and histories of past conflicts by the liquoring lamplight. The path of a warrior strengthens the arm and sharpens the mind, and by true command and the kind that builds enduring power, it requires more. And I will walk this dangerous road and cultivate the guard that I need to be the envy of every Khan and king. It is the experience that I require, and it is what a true leader aspires to be. His personal ambition was palpable, and his drive astounded for greatness, and his income, of course, was modest. He left nothing to chance and ever looked for more opportunities to grow his home and his yurt, whether it be recruiting the nomads needed. He did not deceive or cede. He was a calm man, thinking vigorously, and he also had the stomach of a mighty beast. He would eat many, capturing cows and goats and devouring them from the lote. It was his steward that later came upon the reports of the temple that he later dismantled. My King Yagbu, this note, it speaks of a way of finding herders and its distinction has been gone for way too long. Oh, yes. Our lands are getting a little bit faded. It will be wise of us if we were to just let the herders tend to it, and then just come back later and take it when we need it. Ah! I couldn't have thought a greater idea myself. Yes. Minor innovations and features are not meant to be misunderstood. There's but a simple way hiring herders for what is needed. The Pecheneg culture did not slow down either. Even though they were wanderers, they would not let land just lay unused for long. And with the Pecheneg culture, prestige was gained with each newborn, and taking multiple wives would allow him to secure many heirs. And Tatus's current focus was of course on expanding his wealth and expanding his yurts. The lands of the Byzantines are rich, excessively so. Gold flows there like water, and the Cumans, they have little to offer to us now. But maybe their horses are a force to be reckoned with. But these closer tribes to the north, let them feel the first bite of our ambition, and we will raid them first. They are modest, Yagbu, but their wealth will serve us well, and it will be a test for our warriors. Precisely. And this test will be the whet that we needed for greater glories, and a message for any, that we are not herders, but we are a storm. Later, the preparations were complete. Tatus, his ambition, palpable force gave the order. And it was beginning the organization of the raiding parties. A whirlwind of horse and hardy warriors would stem forth from their encampment. Their initial target, a neighboring tribe, whose lands were deemed ripe for the taking. A first test for Yagbu's sharpened spear. Anticipation thumbed through the ranks, the promise of plunder and the assertion of Pecheneg dominance. However, the fortunes of war are ever fickle. The first settlement states descended upon proved disappointingly barren, and scouts returned with long faces, reporting scant livestock and hidden stores. The younger warriors grumbled, their eagerness soured by the lack of immediate rewards. Tatus, however, remained calm, his expression unreadable as he received the news. A dry well yields no water, so we dig deeper. Their outlying lands may be poor, but their heartlands, their capital, that is where the true wealth will lie. Redirect the columns. We strike for their main encampment. And the Pechenegs, accustomed to swift adaptation, change course. But the steppes themselves are known for their present challenges. Winter had begun to tighten his icy grips on the steppes. A cold zud began to form. The winds bit harder and the ground grew firm. The forage for the horses became scarcer. And these trials were every steppe warrior understood. But it was adding a grim layer of urgency to the campaign. The Pechenegs must take what they need, risk they face starvation. And amidst the rigors of this first offensive, Tatus did not neglect the affairs of his court and the spiritual well-being of his people. With his new wife, the spirited woman, she had proven to possess a keen mind and an observant eye. My queen, your insights have been noted. The Tengri faith guides us, and the stars often hold omens for those wise enough to read them. And from this day forward, you will be my stargazer, and your counsel will be valued as we navigate both the heavens and the earth, and increase my herd gained by your wisdom. Tatus entrusted his queen with a role that combined spiritual guidance with practical influence. While his horsemen were supreme in open battle, the prospect of encountering fortified settlements and richer lands to the south and west loomed. These raids have served their purpose. If we are truly to grasp the wealth of settled lands, we will need men who understand how to bring down such walls. Search for a siege engineer. Such knowledge will be invaluable to us. And the campaigns pressed on. After the initial disappointment, the Pecheneg riders began to find success. Villages were overcome and valuables were seized. Captives were taken, leading to the satisfying clink of ransom money filling the Khan's coffers. It was the taste of plunder, the age-old motivator of nomadic warriors. Tatus, witnessing this turn of fortune, saw an opportunity to press his advantage further. They are bloodied. Their spirit is weakened, and now it is time to bring them into fold, to make them understand the new order under the Kharid banner. He dispatched envoys offering terms that amounted to subjugation, but the response was not what he had anticipated. The chieftains, rather than bowing, had managed to rally their forces and calling on hidden reserves and allies. Yagbu, the warriors, they have more troops. They are forming up, preparing to resist. More troops? Interesting. Their spirit is not as broken as I surmised. Or maybe desperation has lent them strength. And from then on, a swift war council was held, and some of Tatus's more fiery commanders urged immediate assault. But the Khan, ever the pragmatist, assessed the situation with a cool head. He had acquired many a loot, and the enemy was now numerous and resolved. We have achieved our primary objective for this foray. We have bloodied them and taken their wealth. To press the attack now against reinforced numbers with our current gains would be unwise. Let us pause the offensive and return home. We will secure what we have. It is important to know when to stop and when to go, and this was a mark of mature leadership for the Khan. It was that he was no reckless gambler, and he knew when to push and consolidate. And he began to withdraw laden with spoils. And then once he returned, word came that his training grounds were completed. Yagbu, the square is ready. For the advanced training you envision, we can increase its capacity further when you command. Excellent. Our warriors have tasted battle now. They will return to be honed even finer. We must level up our levies indeed, for our enemies grow stronger, and so too must we at a faster pace. And this first campaign concluded not with the total subjugation, but with a significant gain in experience. He had bloodied his warriors and enriched his treasury. The Pecheneg war machine needed to grow larger and stronger and more sophisticated. The path to becoming the greatest of all Khans was not a single glorious charge, but a relentless series of advances, preparations, and adaptations. This is not a marathon. It is a sprint, and Tatus's gaze was already fixed on that future, and his resolve to overcome any obstacle only hardened by the trials faced.